Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today's going to be one of those old school vlogs. This is an issue I've been thinking about for a few weeks now. Just talking about what has happened to gaming. There's not really a hell of a lot of games coming out compared to what we used to have. I just did my collection video of Xbox 360 racing games. Just in racing games alone, God, I almost have as many racing games from the 7th gen as I do all the games to play for the 8th gen. It's amazing how much, and I'm about to embark on finishing my Xbox 360 collection video, and my God, there's we got 3 times the, the shooters and games for that. I'm going to try to find a real fast way to get through that to where it's not going to be so long, but my point being, and I still have another, 30, 40 Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games that I'd like to get to round out my collection if I can swing it. But my God, it's really getting to the point to where there's not a whole lot of games. I mean, we got this Mafia 3, which I pre-ordered and bought. I got the season pass. I haven't even played more than 4 or 5 hours of the game. I'm anxious to get back to it. I held off initially as there was technical problems with the game. I said I'll wait until they patch it. Of course they did, but this game has done pretty well. It did, I think, like 58% better in sales than they did on Mafia 2, which is good. Sold $4.5 million worth in the first week. I think it's sold a total of close to $5 million in sales today, which is good. I think it's good. But yet this Hangar 13 is laying off all their people. It's like I'm confused. It's like I thought it did well for Take-Two. It's sold very well. It seems like it's done well. A lot of people like the game. But yet sales have been poor enough, so we don't even know if we'll get a third one or any more DLC, which is sad. And this is kind of a disturbing pattern I'm seeing with gaming. I mean, it's just getting to the point to where there's less and less games, at least for me, for older gamers. My friend Solid Rev and I have talked about this on and off, camera and social media, PMs, as well as on Twitter and what have you, is that, my God, there's really nothing to play. He kind of jokingly says, Dean, it looks like it's over for us. We're pretty much near the end of the line, and it's sad. Now, for me, he plays a lot more, online kinds of things, where I'm only focused on offline gaming. So at least he's more flexible and with some of the genres and the games and things that he likes. But it is getting tough. I'm lucky if I can find 3 to 5 games per year worth buying. And I had a friend recently that came on Icy Rhythm and said, Dean, there's plenty of great indie games. You're really missing out on a lot of other games. And he's right. And if I was a PC gamer, my God, there's tons of great little indie games. And my friend Ian, Bangkok Ian, has got so many great PC games. I see him playing all the time. Like, God, I wish it would come to the PlayStation 4. And he says some of them will in time. Some will hit the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But it's getting slim pickings. It's getting to the point to where just looking at what we had last gen for gaming, my God, back when I started my little channel here in 2012 or so, there were so many games that were coming. Far Cry 4, Hitman Absolution, Forza Horizon, Doom 3, BFG Edition, Spec Ops Alliance, just like endless games. And back then I was buying every month new games, 2-3 new games a month, and then buying one for my friend. I spent in 1 year $500 in games and shipping costs, just shipping back to my buddy in New York, because I was trying to buy, every time I'd buy Aliens, Colonial Marines, I'd buy him one too, or buy Duke Nukem Forever, I'd buy him one. It was getting expensive. I can't go nuts like that. Now that we bought a house in particular, I've really I'm on a tight budget. I just got my wife a new car. That was the whole deal, is I didn't want to put less miles on the channel. I said, look, I'll buy you a new car. You have your own car. She goes, well, that's fine, but I'm not paying for it. If you'll pay for it, I said, I'll pay for it. I'll pay the Challenger off, which I'm trying to pay off right now, and I'll make the payments in your car. So because of that, I'm on a real tight budget from here on out. I've got plus I got my mortgage payments and improvements in the house. So it's even though I love to support all my favorite devs and games, I wish I could go out and buy like a dozen or 15 new games a year and support them all. I can't afford it. So even I have to pick and choose carefully what I'm going to, buy, and I'm just happy to have the games that we've had. I mean, you've got this, 2000, I don't know what it was, 2014 or so, we had this Far Cry 4, outstanding. I've got so much fun in this, I still want to finish this. 2015, I got 270 hours in Mad Max. 144 in Fallout 4. I mean, you get your money's worth today. And that's kind of one of the points I want to make with this rant. Is that, it's all about, yeah, we have less in the way of gaming, but what you're getting more time. You have huge open worlds. Now, not everyone's into the open world games. Some of these are fairly linear, the story missions in them, but there's so much to do in them. Some of them call it busy work. Jim Sterling, God forbid, labels it as busy work, I'm sorry that you're bored, Jim. Gaming doesn't do it for you anymore. But to me, I enjoy my experience. I love all the busy work and the car races and the little side missions and all. So it doesn't bother me. I don't find games repetitive like a lot of other people do. Maybe it's because I'm not jaded yet, I don't know if I'll ever be that. I don't see myself. I still appreciate great old movies. I can still watch old movies over and over again. I can return to these old games and play them over and over again. In fact, here's a good example. Here's two old games. I paid $50 for this, brand new. Now this is the second copy of this that I've had, but I bought this back in, 95. Paid $50 for this. I bought this several years later for $50. So games have gone up now. Now for the 7th gen, you're paying $60, But that's not that bad. In today's money, this $50 would be close to $150, $160 if you go back to the late 80s or early 90s with inflation, what inflation costs. So I'd have to work a lot harder to buy this game. Where this game would be, for me to buy this game today, I might spend $140 to $160. I'd have to work real hard to pay for the one game. We've never had it so good. I got into a little thing on Twitter with people on this, and they were posting about games shouldn't go up in price. If anything, they should go down. I mean, you don't know how the world works, dudes, if you think that games should go down in price. Now, they're making up for it with the loot boxes and with DLC and expansion packs. I understand. You get the EA Access thing, which I don't care about that stuff. I won't do EA Access. I won't play the new Battlefront 2 game, because it's even to play the online, the space battles in it, even the offline stuff, it's very limited. To do the wonderful space battles, you have to do that online. So I boycott any games that force you to go online. I won't do it. Gran Turismo Sport, I can't do it. The Crew 2, if it does another online only, I won't do it. I don't care how great the cars and racing is. I can't do it. So because of that, I'm very limited. So for me to buy, let's say 4 or 5 new games at $60, $60, each is doable. It's not ideal. Sure, I'd like to pay less. I like to get games. I got Dying Light for $20, the special edition of it recently. I like getting good deals on games like that. But I did support that game initially, buying it at launch and paying close to full price. I think I waited a couple months, and even then I only paid like $39 or something for it. So I got at a savings. But with the games like this new Wolfenstein, this I wanted to support. I was so happy to see another offline Need for Speed game. You better believe I pre-ordered this and supported it. My sister bought me this dirt rally when I had my operation. I was out of work for quite a while. But if she didn't have, I would have found a way to buy this game because I love Codemasters. I'm so happy that they're still making this and Dirt 4. This is one of my favorite go-to games. This game is tougher than a cheap steak, but really fun. And I get my money's worth out of these, so I don't mind paying $50, $60 for these games. It doesn't bother me. You better believe I got my money's worth out of this one. I played the shit out of this, played all the DLC, loved it so much, replayed all of Sniper Elite 3 again. It's a great game. To me, to pay $60 and to have that much fun in a game that I know that I'm going to return to again and again, you better believe it's worth it to me. Now, some gamers, like my friend Mikey, he'll buy virtually almost every new game out. He's got the same 5 terabyte storage that I do in his PS4 Pro, and he's like, Dean, it's already maxed out. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, you're kidding. How could you play that many games? But he likes, he's more open-minded. He plays a shitload of genres. He'll play Life is Strange. I don't want to play as a little teenage girl in a game. I heard the game is great. I understand that. But for me, right off the bat, I can't do it. So there's a lot of games that I limit myself because of my own preference of what I like to play and not play. And some people understand it and some don't. I don't want to get into a debate on that. But that's just how I feel. I wanted to support machine games. So I bought the Old Blood the day it came out. I bought the New Order the day it came out. I bought this New Colossus the day it came out and spent probably more than I should have spent. I spent $100 on it. It's a lot of money for me. But I wanted to support this game because I'm so happy that it's an offline, only single-player game. That's what I'm into. That's what I want. I supported the new LA Noir. Now, I think I paid $40 for this. $40, $50. I'm not even sure what it was. It wasn't a full $60. It was somewhat discounted. But I was happy to do it because I believe in the remastered trend. I'm going to be doing a coming up blog here on remasters. And I'm very happy for Burnout Paradise. I'm very happy that we're getting, the new Far Cry 5 that's going to come with Far Cry 3 remastered. I think that's fantastic. That gives you so much value. So yeah, I'm paying $80 or $100, whatever. I don't even know what I'm paying for the new Far Cry 5. What's killing me is that that's coming out. Next Friday is the Burnout remaster, which I don't know. I'll buy it. I'll try to get a physical copy if I can. If they don't have any, I'll get a digital download. I wouldn't mind having it permanently in my 5 terabytes of storage, but either way, I want that game. And then, wouldn't you know, it, the same month, I've got this very expensive Far Cry 5 Gold Edition with a season pass. But I want that Far Cry 3 so bad. I mean, who knows? Like Modern Warfare 4 remastered. Probably down the road, they'll have it as a separate, downloadable game or whatever, or even a physical copy, but I really want the game. So let's say I spent $100 a game. I'm getting my money's worth. I'm getting, probably 40, 50, 60 hours of open world gameplay at least. Knowing me, probably 100 and something hours I could put into that game. Plus I get the DLC, which is cool as shit, from the little vignettes that I've seen with the new trailer. Plus I get to play, Far Cry 3, so to me that's a good value. Yeah, I mean, it's sad because I see a lot of people complaining about new games, and I saw a couple of people I saw recently bragging, I never pay full price. I'll wait till they all hit, $15 or $20, and of course, these are guys who will spend $3-4 grand on a gaming PC and then upgrade it constantly with the latest, most expensive tech and graphics cards, but yet they'll whine about having to pay more than $12 for a game on Steam. I'm amazed. And they're bitching and whining about they have nothing to play and games are too expensive. And I'm like, dude, you're part of the problem. If you're not buying games and paying full price and supporting these studios, then you can't be too surprised when you get jack shit to play because these studios are going to close their doors. Some people say, well, it's not my fault. I have no moral compass on it. I could care less. It's not my job to keep these doors open or to feed these, developers and artists working on these games. Well, that's fine. You can have that attitude if you want. But the reality is, and it is a reality, is that these are groups of people that are working hard to make the games we like. Now, I got this new Metro Exodus or whatever. I understand that studio, they make really good games on a very tight budget. In some Eastern, European country or Poland or somewhere. It's a completely different dynamic than having an expensive, high-rise office in downtown San Francisco where God knows what their utility bill is, probably $108,000 a month just for their air conditioning. I mean, it costs so much in America to make games because a lot of these places have expensive headquarters, really top-notch development studios. I saw the George Lucas Studios over there in the Presidio in San Francisco. That's a very expensive facility. I mean, no wonder why it costs so much money to make, these games, like these Star Wars games. This is the last decent Star Wars games that we had, and that were offline, good story-driven games. In fact, I still want to get the Sith edition of this for the 360. I've got the PS3 version of it, but it's so sad that they killed that goddamn, what the hell was it, Star Wars 1313, or they have a new one that woman was working on, Amy Hemingway, I can't remember her name, Hemingdale or whatever it was, really talented gal who worked on the Uncharted games. And EA took an axe studio that made the Dead Space games, and it's sad. It just kills me that we're losing so many of these studios, and it's like no wonder why we don't get these Star Wars games. These games are so good. These are so good. That's why I love my Xbox. I got my new modded Xbox right here. I'm going to be doing a video real soon, hooking this thing up. You got to love what you see on this. I have yet to install any games. But I got a couple of these Star Wars games set aside because I want to install them. I want to play these games. KOTOR, which I've never played, I've always wanted to play this. Now I can play them via component cables on, a 4K TV. I got this wonderful Republic Commando I've heard so much great things about. It looks fantastic. I am so excited that I have something to play. Now these games are all $50 games when they were new. I mean, and today we're only paying another $10 more, and the games, some people say they pad them. A lot of that is padding and, busy work, God forbid. But the point is there's plenty to do. You can get your 30, 40 hours easily in those games. I got 270 hours in Mad Max, and I still have 40% of the main story left. But that's because I had 4 attempts in replaying it because of the damn patch number 4. But I love those games. And to me, in like Fallout 4, I mean, I've got virtually like 40, 50% of my main story missions left on that. There's so much to that game. And I haven't even played, the Far Harbor DLC that I have downloaded. I mean, there's so much. See, to me, I get my money's worth out of it. And for me to pay $60, you pay a lot of money. I used to pay $60 for video disc, RCA video disc. And you watch, it's a 2-hour movie of the Blues Brothers. You watch it once or twice, and that's it. You paid $60, and that'd be like paying, my God, $380 today. Back for one of those video discs, those old video disc things were terrible. They skip like a record after a while. They get dust inside them, and my God, they were horrible. But you pay, what my point was, we paid top dollar for technology. I had a $1,250 NEC digital VCR I bought in 1987, or 88, I think I bought it. That would be like paying $4,500 for a Blu-ray player. Can you imagine? I mean, maybe we work harder for the things. TVs were more expensive back then. You had to work harder for technology back in the 80s and 90s. And you were just happy to have it. I mean, I had to save like a pirate. That's $700. I saved that $700 up to get that Panasonic 3DO. That took me like 6 or 7 months to save that up. That would be like spending literally $2,100 to $2,400 today for a console. Can you imagine people whining about how expensive a PS4 Pro is? $400, they're ripping us off. You're getting this thing that plays in 4K, and some of the games play in 60 frames a second, some 30. But my God, it looks so good. It looks so good. It's such a wonderful console. I don't see why the people complain. It's like they don't get it. I think there's really a sense of entitlement. People think they should get everything for free. We pay $20 a month for Netflix, and my God, you can stream endless movies for free. They deliver DVD or Blu-rays or DVDs right to your door, as many as you want. If you watch it that night and put it right back in the mail, a couple days later you get the next one. It's a beautiful thing. You can get several great movies physically to watch in a month, as well as endless streaming. And so we're kind of spoiled today. And that was my point, on a Twitter feed recently. It's like, look, we've never had it so good. Yeah, but these companies are making EA and Activision make so many billions a year. It's like, who cares what they make? They have a lot of overhead. They got a lot of people to pay. They're not in it for love. They're in it for money. And thank God they are, because we benefit at the end of the day by having these games. So to me, it's irrelevant how much they make. That's an irrelevant point. My point is, you've never had it so good. When you're paying $50 for these games then, and you're only paying $60 today for them. Some of you say, well, it's more like $100, Well, that's if you get the EA, Origins thing. We get to pay for their online deal, which I won't do. Ubisoft has their own online deal. I mean, I don't do those. Early, like right now, I can play Burnout Paradise early access through Origins, but I'll wait and get it. I'll pay my $140, $50, $60, whatever it is, and I'll have that game to enjoy. Believe me, I'll replay that game, get all the lights. I'll get my 60+ hours out of that game. That's a hell of a deal. You buy a new Blu-ray. My God, you'll spend I'll spend $32 for a new 3D Blu-ray, of the Titanic remastered, or that King Kong, Skull Island thing in 3D for $31.95 or whatever it is. You watch it once or twice and you spent $30. You spend $30, $40 for a game, my God, you get 30, 40 hours or 60 hours of gameplay in some of them. Not all of them. I got this new Call of Duty World War II. I've yet to play this yet. And thank God I got this as a wonderful gift from my good buddy Cameron for Christmas. But I would pay $60 for this just for the campaign. And it's nice to find out that they've, at least Activision, set it up to where you can play like kind of like the skirmish modes in Battlefront. You can actually go and play the multiplayer maps against bots, plus you get zombies. So I think that they're trying to give you value. It's easy to put this on, make a target out of this and to take cheap shots at it. A lot of people are sick. Now, I wouldn't play all the modern ones, all of the last Advanced Warfare and all, with the last 3 or 4 ones, even the strange Black Ops 3, I just couldn't get into it. So I've kind of held off on buying these since Ghost. And I like Ghost. You know, my wife bought me Ghost for Christmas. I've got my money's worth. I've played that thing twice, all the way through. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll probably play it again at some point. Yeah, it's not the greatest Call of Duty game, but I get my money's worth. I don't mind supporting the devs that make the games that I like. That's my point, is that we've never had it so good. Whether you think that we should pay, you know, and I get friends that, I never buy new games. I never buy new games. And what's funny is that the people that are the most vocal and complain the most about they have nothing to play, they're the ones that are the cheapest cheapskates that won't spend the money for the developers. And it's like, you know, just saying with my dad. My dad is one of the most vocal people politically, but yet he doesn't vote. He hasn't voted, God, since like the 60s. I'm like, dude, if you don't vote, then you have no right, you have no platform to speak your mind. If you're not doing all you can about it, then you've lost your right to whine and snivel about it. I don't want to hear it. When you've prove to me that you voted, I'll hear what you have to say. To me, it's the same principle of games. If you're buying, at least trying to buy the games. I can't buy every new game. I have to really watch. I'll be lucky to get 2 games, and that's frankly all I'm getting for months. I like to get Gravel. Realistically, I'm going to have to hold off on it. I really want this Onrush game. I'm hoping by then I'll have the money. I'll try to get Onrush by the Motorstorm devs. Looks really good. Red Dead Redemption 2, my God, I'd love to play that. That looks really good. Thankfully, that's coming later in the game. They just pushed back this Days Gone game. I'm happy, to be honest. I'm like, 2019, good. That's one less $60 game I have to buy this year. And I'd rather wait and have them get it perfect. I'm tired of buying broken games. You know, like my Mad Max game, like 4 attempts in. I'll never get that 270 hours back, but I'll tell you, I did have a lot of fun with that 200 there. I enjoyed all 4 playthroughs. Each of those playthroughs was a blast. I love this game so much. And I guarantee I'll have over 500 hours of this game by the time I'm done. And I'll probably still keep playing it. So to me, this is worth it. If I had to pay $100 for this game and I had no other way to experience it but to pay $100 or $120, I would do it. To me, I place a value on my experiences. And some people say, oh, it's because, you know, you get money to blow, you can afford it. No, I am limited. I have a lot of nice things because I'm responsible with my money. I can't afford a gaming PC. I got so many friends, dude, why don't you get an Xbox One X? I can't believe it, 4K TV. You know, I can't afford the $500. And I got to buy a couple Xbox One X games on top of that. We're talking, that's $700 and something bucks I got to spend. I don't have it. I can't spend that, so I got to pick and choose. That $500 for the Xbox One X plus tax in California, which is expensive. My God, you know how many games and movies I could buy all year? That will be my budget for the entire year for my gaming. I can't do it. It may be another year or so before I get that. You know, and frankly, there's not a hell of a lot of reasons for me to buy that. There's not a lot of exclusives. They fucked up every exclusive that I love, with the exception of Cuphead, which I really would like to play. And who knows, maybe that'll, you know, down the road will be available on the PS4, but I'm happy to see that game. I like that new World War II game that they've got, the flying game for the Xbox One. It's very tempting. I love the backwards compatibility, but for me right now, I can't afford it. I'd rather spend the money on 3 or 4 new games and then get, you know, make some headway with my retro collection, if possible. But, you know, we'll see. But it's frustrating when I hear so many people complain whether we should spend $70 or $80 for new games. I mean, naturally, we don't want to see. You don't want to go into your Best Buy or GameStop and what, you know, $70 now we got to spend. I understand it. I get it, because you're getting approaching $100. In the end, by the time you get the DLC and season passes and shit, you're paying close to $100 for these games anyway. But they're putting a lot more into them. We have never had more immersive killer experience. I mean, I paid $50 for Duke Nukem Time to Kill. You know how dated that game is? You know how pixelated and crude that game looks today? But my God, I've got so much mileage. I got my $50 worth out of that Duke Nukem Time to Kill and Land of the Babes big time. I got my money's worth. And Felony 1179 and, Gran Turismo, Burning Road, even the shit games that I bought for the PS1, I played the hell out of them. We didn't have a whole lot to choose from back then. Super NES, every time I go to the store, there was the same 20 games to buy. It wasn't till nowadays we've got it great. I mean, go on the internet, you can see every game ever made. You can see a complete list of games made. There's apps on your phone where you can do your retro collecting to see what you've yet to get and what's available. And you can go on Amazon and eBay and all of these different formats and ways to buy games. We've never had it so good. That's my point that I've consistently made as an older gamer, is if you lived back in the days of Pong and the C64 and the NES and Super NES and all that stuff, you'll see that the games have never been cheaper. And the games are far more immersive today. Duke Nukem Forever, as shitty as aspects of that game are, which I'll agree with, it looks so damn good compared to Duke Nukem Time to Kill or Duke Nukem, Total Meltdown on the PlayStation 1. They're so immersive. There's so much to them, so many ways you can play them today. I think that we really have become very indifferent and jaded and somewhat entitled, let's be honest. I honestly feel that way. And again, this is kind of a polarizing thing. I know many of you guys will go, I can't afford new games. Some of you can't. And those of you that are in very tight financial straits certainly have a good reason for waiting and getting a game for $12 or $20. I understand, I get it. When I had my back surgery, I could only afford 2 new games all year. One of the new games that I had that I didn't have to pay for was that Dirt Rally game that my sister gave me. That gave me something to play for months, And I got my friend, good friend Angel, got me that Fallout 4. My God, it gave me 144 hours laying down on my side on pain meds, recovering from that operation. That Fallout 4 took my mind off from the unbelievable searing pain that I was feeling. So if I had paid $60 or $100 for that Fallout 4, I would have got my money's worth, because I value my escapism. I value my games. And maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's good that there's only a handful of games, 4 or 5 or 6 games a year that appeal to me, because that's really all I can afford anyway. And then down the road, I'll get, I'll come across something that'll be in a bargain bin for $15 or $25. Oh, look, here's that Dying Light: The Falling. I always wanted this version. No, it's only $20. I'll get that. I got that Uncharted Nathan Drake collection for $20, brand new. My God, you get 3 wonderful games remastered with high frame rates, wonderful graphics. My God, it looks so good. You could just play those 3 games endlessly. That's the best $20 you could spend. We've never had it so good. You guys with the Steam access and GOG and all that stuff, where you can get just hundreds and hundreds of games. I know a lot of you guys take good advantage of those sales. You've got more games than you could ever play, and you got them dirt fucking cheap. And you can play them at 60 to 100 frames a second, in 4K or 1080p or whatever all day long. It's a beautiful thing, and yet they're the most vocal ones about how expensive gaming is. It makes me laugh sometimes, to be honest, but you can't be surprised if the studios are going out of business and you're not doing what you can. At least try to support a couple studios a year. Try to find like 2 or 3 games that are good games that you like. Let's say you like the Assassin's Creed series, which I'm not a fan of. If you like the Far Cry series, then buy the new game and support it. And guess what? They'll more than likely will get another one. But if you wait, if everyone had the same thing, that's what you got to look at. Is you always look at the extremes. If you look at it this way, let's say if we all did A or B, if we all bought a new game at full price, what would happen? Well, the studios would obviously do real well. The publishers would get their money back out of the game, and you could pretty much count on a new game being made. Now let's take the opposite approach. Let's say everyone waited for it to hit $20 in the bargain bin. Guys, the studio would go out of business. So that's what you have to look at extremes. And it's easy to say, well, I'll let the other guy pay for it. I'll let him carry the load. Again, for those of you that are very limited with money, You're in tough times. You're out of work right now. You're lucky to get a handful of games to play a year, and you got to really milk them and make them last. I get it. I understand that. We're not talking about you. We're talking about people with ample income that'll buy 4K TVs and buy $3,000-4,000 gaming PCs and put in and have every new console on top of that. But yet will bitch about having to pay full price for a game, God forbid. And then you're the most vocal ones when you get nothing to play and all the studios are closing the doors. So it's all my point of this vlog is to just take a step back, try to look at the big picture of how good we have it. I'm saddened that we have such little good new IPs to play. You won't see games like Spec Ops: The Line coming out anymore. You won't have a lot of unique shooters, like Cold Fear or the old Land of the Dead. A lot of those really cool, unique kind of niche games, you won't see a lot of those anymore, and that's sad. I don't know whether we'll get another new Myst game. I'm so happy we had that Oblivion, or whatever it's called, Abduction. I always call it Oblivion. That Abduction game, which I still need to get back to. That's why I bought that game at launch, that Abduction game. I was so happy that Cyan Games was making another Myst game. And the minute I discovered that, at that time, I remember when I bought that digital download for that game, I had no money. I could barely afford that game, but I said, I have to do my all for these guys. I immediately followed them on Twitter. I was kind of eagerly watching the sales to see if the game had done well. It looks like it's done pretty well. It did well on PC. It got ported to consoles. It looks like the sales have been fairly good, and I'm hoping we'll get another one because I love those types of games. I love my Myst Riven and the first Myst and Myst 3 Exile, and I want more of those. We don't get those kind of puzzle games anymore. I still haven't played Jonathan Blows the Witness. That's another one I'd like to get. That's another one I wanted to support at launch, but I had to pick and choose. I can only get so many. So, I said I'll get Mad Max. Instead I'll buy the ones that I really want. And I'd love to see another Mad Max, but frankly, with the shitty sales that game did, it's done supposedly pretty well overall in the long term of sales. But Warner Brothers had such, I don't know, maybe some of these game studios have crazy expectations. They've got to sell so many millions of units and make so many hundreds of millions of dollars, or they feel if they can't, the game's a disaster, which is sad. There's so many games that I think are very successful games, but yet the sales, for whatever reason, have done bad. Some of that is the fault of the studios not marketing the game properly. We'll put it this way. You get games like this Call of Duty. Let's say, I don't know how much it costs to make these games. Let's say it costs $100 million to make this game. They'll spend another $100 million just to market it, to sell it. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money at stake and a lot of money invested in these games, but they know that a lot of people will buy this. This is a good casual shooter. A lot of casual gamers that might only buy a couple games a year, they'll buy this one every year, and they're counting on that. So that's why they'll put a lot of money into those ones. But then, God forbid, they market a game like Mad Max. Instead, they'll market that Metal Gear Solid 5, which I've never played. So that one got all the praise, all the attention. I think Mad Max is a far better game, far better graphics, far more interesting as far as I'm concerned. But again, that's a personal, subjective preference thing. So it's sad. We probably won't see another Mad Max, and I would give anything to have that. But I'm just happy that at least they made that one, and I can return to that game down the road. So, let me know in the comments how you feel about it. I know some of you personally, I know that have very limited money and can't afford new games, and I'm not talking about you again. I'm talking about the people that have ample income that could be supporting the games, and a lot of them aren't, and they're surprisingly the most vocal ones, whining and sniveling about games getting expensive, and they're outraged they even have to pay $60 for it. And my whole point was, dude, you never had it so good. And the fact that we can go today, I can go right now and buy a used clean PS3 for $89 and go out and buy a handful of PlayStation 3 games for like another $40 or $50. So for $120, $150, I can even start a 7th gen collection and have endless hours of stuff to play. Gaming we're so thankful. We live in the age of plenty. Retro gaming has never been more accessible and more easy, whether it's 5th, 6th, or 7th gen. all day long. It's very available at mom and pop stores, GameStops, online, Amazon, eBay. It's all very available. New games have never been cheaper. They even have deals, I guess, at Best Buy. They get some special club. If you join something, you can buy new games at less than full price. I mean, I'll have to check into that. I still buy my games at GameStop, but for new ones, but we'll see. Again, I support that one GameStop because I like the manager, and she's been nice to me. She gives me these killer posters and lets me take games back sometimes, even though I'm not technically supposed to. And so because of that, I've been very supportive of that particular GameStop. And that's something else I urge you to do. Support your mom and pop store. Support the stores that are selling you the games and experiences or movies or whatever it is that you like, because if you don't, someday they're going to be gone. Right now, they're closing Toys R Us. I guess this week, that's it. They're shutting down all the stores. That's it. No more Toys R Us. You know it's a matter of time on GameStop. It's just a matter of time. It's going to be gone. I don't know where. I guess I'll have to go to Best Buy. And who knows? They'll probably stop selling physical games at some point, too. So I don't know where gaming's going. Of course, EA is looking at it as a gaming service. And, you know, they want to have... I can see the future is going to be these perpetual online things that they'll be constantly updating and adding things to. You know, again, I won't play The Division. I won't play Destiny 1 and 2. I have zero interest in that. To me, it's like a coaster rentals. I can't do it. People say, oh, Dean, just enjoy it for what it is right now. I can't. Just knowing it, again, it defies my core belief system, which is if a game is worth playing, it's worth replaying and having in a collection. That's my whole motto. I honestly believe that. And if you can't return to a game like The Crew or the 2015 Need for Speed, then I'm not interested. I don't even want to get attached to it. What if I like it and start to play it and all of a sudden stop for a couple of years? Oh yeah, I want to get back to The Crew. Oh shit, it's offline now. You can't play it anymore. I want to throw that one across the fucking room. I don't like that. It's again. So this year I'm going to try to get another backup PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, just a handful of, another 20, 30 7th gen games, and that's it, man. I'm so close, and I'm excited, so I'm not too worried. I'm going to try to do my best to support the new games coming out in the next few years. I'm going to ride the train as long as I can before jumping off, before the train derails. But I see the day is going to come where, and who knows, it could be the PlayStation 5. It could be an online-only PlayStation Now streaming thing, and I will definitely bail. And that's why I urge you, build at least a 7th gen collection. And believe me, you can play these old PlayStation 2s and original Xboxes via component cables on your big, living room TVs. They look great. You can go through, have someone mod it for you, have someone go through, clean it up, fix the clock capacitor. You can still get working good units. There's still plentiful original Xbox and PlayStation 2 games to get. It's so fun collecting, and you can still start building yourself a legacy of games, because the day is going to come where it may come to a grinding halt, and I'm seeing it coming sooner rather than later. So I'm going to continue to support the few gaming studios I like as long as I can, and ride the train as long as I can. But in the meantime, just in case, I'm building that 7th gen and 6th gen collection big time, and even some 5th gen stuff is a lot of fun to collect for. So anyway, guys, thanks. Put in the comments how you feel about this one way or the other. I love your feedback. I love your comments. If you want to do a VR or something like that, that's always welcome as well. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy those games. That's what this is all about. Thanks, guys.